Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial, and today we are going to be discussing how to use a switch statement. And I like to use switch statements for when I'm creating like a menu so that you can ask the user what they want to do, and that way it'll run through all these cases for different inputs, but it'll still execute your code how basically they want to run through the code. So first thing that I usually do is I create an int value, and I like to call it choice. And let's just say I create a menu, and in the menu I'll say enter 1 for doing a print method, and this could just be anything. I'm not going to do a print method for anything like that. I am just simply creating some type of example so that we can see how this switch statement works. And we're going to make a read method. So basically in these lines it's kind of like a menu, and it basically depends on what they enter. And you could have these two statements say anything you wanted them to do, and then in your switch statements you could have them do whatever is related to your project or your menu or anything of that sort. So the next thing we need to do is make a cin and have choice be the variable, so that way the user is inputting. And now is when we're going to basically start our switch statement. And to do this, we're going to just write switch, and the expression that this switch statement is based on is the value of choice. So anything that is entered into choice is going to be what is controlling the switch statement. So we're going to make brackets here for our switch statement so we know what is in it. And the syntax basically for a switch statement is to write case and then whatever is inputted. So if you wanted 1 to do a print method, you would make case 1 and you would put a colon, and then below it you would put, well, you could if you had a print method you could just say print and call your function, but for this tutorial I don't have any function, so we're just going to say here is print, and below it you could still in here you could call your print function if you have it, but I don't. So that means that basically this case is over, and to end a case you just write break with a semicolon. And then next you need to check for your second case, which is case 2. And this would be enter here 2 for doing a read method. So below again you could call the function, but for this I'm just going to say read method. And we're going to put an end line. Now after that, say you're done, but you want to make sure that the user didn't accidentally type in a wrong value. So you're going to make this default statement right here. And this is important because say you run this menu and they enter 3 or a -4 or hello. Then your switch statement just can't read that because well, it can read an integer, but it couldn't read hello. So you need to make a default statement to test for invalid entries. And I just like to say that. And let's just compile this and see where we are. I believe this all looks correct. And it is. And if you run it, there are my two statements, and I'm going to enter 1. And here's print. So we know that it ran this case right here. And if we run this again, we can say 2, and there's the read method. And let's say we did not enter anything right, so we entered a 7. And then our default state is basically running, and invalid entry is being outputted because that was just not what we were looking for here. And I believe if you type in words, it also, yes, see, it also will not take that in. So technically, this is all you need for a switch statement, but since there's this default line, I like to write all of this switch statement in a while loop. This way, if they do happen to go across this, the program won't just end. It'll rerun it basically in this while loop for whenever choice is less than 0, or no. We want it to be less than 1 or choice is greater than 2. Now, I believe this is going to run this switch statement until a correct value is inputted. So let's just make sure that there were no errors, but I'm making sure this expression here is correct. So let's say we enter 0. Oh, no, that is not what we want. Damn. Let's see here, this. I know what needs to happen. This needs to be right. We're gonna cut this and we're gonna put it right here. That way, our whole program basically, or our whole menu is going to be running through. So if we say 0, invalid entry, and then it's running these 2 lines of code and making sure that we're entering another value in. So it's going to basically just keep running until we finally put in the value that it's looking for. So that's pretty much it, and this is all the code for switch statement. Now if you had more menu options, you could make more case options, and basically then your while loop would basically just have to be customized for however your menu function is. But that's basically how you do it, and that's all I have for this tutorial, so thank you for watching.